Scammers, hackers, even telemarketers are itching to get their hands on your personal information.
Yeah, and some people in the metro say they are shocked to learn their names, addresses, and other data is being sold for profit by a government agency.
And Chief Investigative reporter Lauren Trager tells us there really isn't much you can do about it.
The dreaded trip to the DMV. If you drive, you've got no choice. Take a ticket, give them what they ask for.
My birth certificate, passport, social security number.
Today I came in to DMV to get my driver's license.
But St. Louisans were recently shocked when we told them.
Do you know that the DMV actually sells your personal information to third parties?
No, I did not know they sell your information.
Their personal info could be for sale.
Frankly, it's a little frightening, a little off-putting.
Even on my recent trip to a license office, the worker didn't know.
Do you guys ever sell personal information?
No, they don't.
It never gets sold to third parties?
Never.
All of it could be for sale.
Oh, of course. Anything the DMV has about you is for sale.
Scott Graneman is a data expert and professor at Webster University.
Look at your driver's license and then imagine what you filled out. Imagine the things you filled out on the form that the DMV has. Now imagine that being made available to people. It's a lot of information.
And he says it's all perfectly legal under a federal law called the Driver's Privacy Protection Act, or DPPA. Passed in the 1990s after DMV information was used by a man to murder a Hollywood actress, the law actually prohibits states from selling driver data to just anyone, but it carved out exemptions for who can access it, courts and law enforcement agencies, for example, and also certain types of businesses like insurance companies and entities conducting market research, even private investigators.
The restrictions that are provided have a lot of loopholes in them, and a lot of opportunity for people to go ahead and acquire information about us that we might not be very comfortable with them acquiring.
So even though the law is supposed to restrict selling your data, News 4 Investigates has learned states very often do and are making millions of dollars in the meantime. We pulled the data from Missouri. In the last 5 years, the state made well more than $2 million from selling DMV records. It's less than other states. Texas made a reported $3 million in 2020 alone. Illinois almost $45 million in 2022, and Florida reportedly raked in $77 million for driver data back in 2017.
So Missouri is somewhat of a drop in the bucket compared to Florida, but there's still selling going on of information.
Graneman says it's often not clear where the data's going. He reviewed the list of the entities to which Missouri sold in 2022, and some of them raise more questions.
What's to stop me from just creating, Lauren Trager Marketing LLC and going and buying all of this data?
There's nothing stopping somebody from creating a marketing company and then getting this data at all.
And nothing, he says, stops them from turning around and selling the data to someone else, especially now when it's easier than ever.
Which is why we have the problem of our data sloshing around all over computer systems all over the United States.
Graneman has long said federal laws need to be passed to protect Americans' data overall.
You don't own your data. So if somebody else has data about you, they own that data, not you.
So we took concerns about the DMV loophole straight to Missouri U.S. Senator Josh Hawley.
The idea that the government then could perhaps take that information and sell it, make it available to third parties, I just think that's appalling.
He tells News 4 Investigates he would consider legislation to tighten the exemptions to the DPPA.
The information you have to give the state to get a license, to get a vehicle, and then have it be turned over to a third party or sold to them, that is wrong, wrong, wrong.
Worst of all, drivers we talked to say they had no idea.
If they're selling it, that seems pretty, irresponsible.
It takes Channel 4 to come out to sit there and tell us this, but people need to pay attention about their identity.
And want to opt out? It's not an option.
What can we do about it to stop them from doing it? The State Department of Revenue. The State Department of Revenue. Remember that, St. Louis, Missouri. Make sure that we stay on top of that.
Again, remember, this is all allowed under federal law, but states can make their own laws more restrictive. Wyoming and Arkansas have, for example. We'll keep checking with lawmakers here, and for now, just know that your data might be sold. For News 4 Investigates, I'm Lauren Trager.
And late today, the Department of Revenue provided a response to News 4 for this story. We asked, how do they know who was getting the information? A spokesperson writing, quote, "Every effort is made to ensure that only authorized users of authorized entities are provided information. This is something we take very seriously, and efforts include manual verification, cross-referencing, and routine spot checks," end quote.